Richard, so he has that breakout game, 3 catches, 170 yards, and a touchdown. And then as of New Year's Eve, he's entered the transfer portal. Why do you think Dazmine decided that somewhere else was better than his next season at Arkansas?
Sounds like some other people reached out to him or his agent or whoever and said, hey, we can probably make something happen if you enter the portal. So that's what it appears.
Well, does it feel like Mike Woods-esque? You remember, like after his big spring game, he ends up entering the portal and winds up at Oklahoma. Does that feel like this situation at all?
Could. Yeah, I mean, obviously people, that was an impressive run. I mean, after the catch and showed his speed. So, I imagine that caught the eye of a lot of people. And yeah, I mean, we'll probably know pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that the decision to enter the portal had been made prior to playing that game. He needed that game to put his skill on display. He knew he had the chance, but to me, it's not a stretch to think here's a guy that has that kind of speed for some reason, for something that Bobby Petrino and staff was seeing in practice. He didn't make the field this year. I can't help but believe the decision to go into the portal had come and gone prior to ever kicking off in Memphis.
Yeah, that might have been the case, but at the same time, he had a lot of upperclassmen playing in front of him. And don't get me wrong, obviously that was a very impressive run after the catch. And you saw, obviously you saw the speed. So, but at the same time, I know a lot of times fans are always, in some of the media, always wants backups to get more playing time, and sometimes that's justified. I get that, but I always defer to Bobby Petrino and his thinking before any fan or anybody in the media, because obviously he sees the kids in practice and he knows what they're capable of doing. And so I really don't get too worked up about stuff like that. It's especially with him going in the portal, it's just where we are in today's college athletics.
Did you get worked up 2 nights ago, Richard? Did you stay up to see the ball drop on Tuesday night?
No, I didn't. My days of doing that, I might have been on my phone or something, just kind of looking at some things, but I'm not so sure. Not sure I made it to midnight. Can't remember, to be honest with you.
Well, we didn't expect we were going to have a college football game today, at least in the college football playoff, but with everything going on in New Orleans, not just New Orleans, but several other pockets of the United States, they've decided to postpone. I say postpone the game basically not even 24 hours later. They're going to play at 3 o'clock today. Richard, what have you made of what's gone on really the last 24 to 48 hours or so?
Well, what you guys were talking about before you brought me on about the targeting, I agree 100% with Tommy. And I tweeted it about there's absolutely no consistency in the targeting call. I mean, it is. I think it's embarrassing for college football, especially when I think that the vast majority of people agree that that was targeting. I thought it was targeting. And it was one of those calls I thought, well, this is not going to be overturned. They're not going to rule it's not targeting, and I'll be darned if it wasn't. Yeah. And I just and I'm with you, Tommy, too. I think it definitely increased the chances for Arizona State to win the game, but you can't say for sure that they would have. I mean, because their place kicker kind of had some issues in the game. So, but I think everybody going forward, when they think about that game, they're going to be thinking about the targeting call and it not being upheld or what have you. And I just think it's a bad look for college football. They have to do something, and I agree with you that it should all of the college playoff games should have one one set of eyes and have consistency.
Well, to make the problem worse, I just got a text from someone that has knowledge of it. Apparently, they do have collaborative replay now for these playoff games, so that means more eyes were involved. Now, I do know from watching some videos and sitting through some meetings that are put out there, and they're available on YouTube to anyone that wants to watch a lot of that stuff. The ultimate decision's never with the replay center, wink, wink, but generally not. It's still the replay official in the booth that has to make that final call. So in the end, you can have all the sets of eyes you want, including the on-field official, the referee, the booth itself, replay. But in the end, there is one decision maker. That's the replay official on the game. And my issue is, again, we've seen that play many, many times in the SEC, and I think with almost near 100% outcome, it's been targeting. And I just don't know how you come away with a different decision than what they made.
Yeah, I think if you looked on Twitter, everybody, I think probably 95% of the people were thinking it was targeting, and then the official on the broadcast booth in the broadcast, he believed it was he believed it was targeting too. So whoever made that call, I would think. That person made the call based on what he or she thought, but I think afterwards they probably kind of revisited after the outcry from everybody on social media, everywhere.
Yeah,
Richard, I know I want to go to what's going down in New Orleans with the truck bomb and the 15 people dead, dozens have been injured, and then this is more of a news story than a sports story. It's tied to sports because of what's going on there, but. In your opinion, should they play this game at 3:00 today?
I actually don't. I think they ought to delay it a day. The reason I say that because the Attorney General of Louisiana believes that, and I'm sure she knows some things that makes her believe that. I think there's too much politics in the FBI. I don't have much confidence in the FBI in the way they handle things from a political standpoint, and I question whether or not they should be playing. Yeah, I think they're getting a lot of pressure, obviously, probably from the NCAA or whoever in the networks to play the game today. So if they played the game on Friday, I would assume that they would have to adjust the rest of the schedule and move it back a day. And I'm sure there's reasons why the networks probably don't want that, but I do believe that they should probably play the game tomorrow instead of today. If something happens at the game, whoever made those decisions to play the game today, I would not want to be in their shoes.
Yeah, and obviously they felt like the Superdome itself was safe because they let media back in, and ESPN was doing live shots in, and they had spent a lot of time with apparently bomb sniffing dogs and other ways to detect that stuff, but. I just wondered why they made the decision to play at 3:00 in the afternoon. You would think on a day where most of America went back to work today, they would want to have it a little bit later. You're talking about a 1:00 kickoff Pacific Coast time. Now, I understand these coaches want every hour to rehab and get on schedule. But to me, it's still about eyeballs on the TV. And I can't imagine there's going to be a large audience watching this game today, at least in the first half.
Well, maybe because it's daylight, maybe that gives them a little bit more comfort and being able to see things more easily, before. But it's going to be dark when
the game's over. The sunset.
Well, that's true. That's
done
true.
by about 5:30.
I don't know what all went into that, but and obviously they moved the Ole Miss game and Duke game back an hour or two or something, or for tonight.
Yeah, you can adjust everything. Here's the thing. New Orleans has the Super Bowl coming up in a month. I
think that just doesn't answer the question. It's because they have that game already, the Duke game already set.
They've got 8 networks. Put those games somewhere else.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that's
move those games. They're
I don't.
There is no one easy answer. Mm-hmm. But the reality is this is the most important game of anything left to be played this week in college football. So it should take priority. But what should take priority over everything else is the safety of everyone, from players, coaches to, fans aren't any less important. So, in fact, you could argue they're the most important part of this process. So I think you got to ride with whatever the local officials say, Richard, because they know more than we do as far as what has been done to ensure the safety of this event. I
agree 100%. I think in a situation like this, and evidently there were some bombs that were some other people had something to they were involved with as far as planning around the city or what have you, and they haven't been caught. I would just say to be whoever the decision-making people if something happens today.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.